The rain hammered the tin roof of our old craftsman house in suburban Seattle like it was trying to drown out the screams echoing from the living room. I stood frozen in the hallway, my heart pounding as Tyler's voice sliced through the storm. "You're disgusting. Nick, a freak. If Mom finds out, she'll disown you." His words landing like punches I couldn't dodge. In that moment, as lightning cracked the sky and illuminated his twisted face, I realized the brother I'd idolized for years had just shattered the fragile world I'd built around us. I was 16 when Dad married Elena, Tyler's mom, blending our fractured families into one awkward American dream in the Pacific Northwest. Dad, a quiet Boeing engineer with calloused hands from years on the assembly line, had lost Mom to cancer when I was 10, leaving me with a hole that echoed louder than the Space Needle's foghorns on a foggy morning. Elena was the opposite, vibrant, a high school counselor with a laugh like wind chimes and a knack for turning potlucks into therapy sessions. She brought Tyler, 2 years older than me, with his easy grin and quarterback build, the kind of guy who could charm the rain clouds away. First, it was paradise wrapped in flannel shirts and Friday night Seahawks games. Tyler and I shared a room in the attic, our bunk beds creaking under the weight of late-night talks about everything from Marvel movies to the ache of missing parents. He'd ruffle my hair and call me "little bro," teaching me how to skip stones across Lake Washington until they danced like fireflies. I worshipped him, my shield against the bullies at school who sniffed out my secret like bloodhounds. Being gay wasn't something I announced. It was a whisper in my chest, a stolen glance at the cute barista at the coffee shop near Pike Place Market. But Tyler knew. I'd confessed it one humid summer night, tears soaking my pillow as crickets chirped outside. "It's okay, Nick," he'd said, pulling me into a hug that smelled like Axe body spray and safety. "Your secret's mine. We're family now." That promise held until sophomore year, when the cracks started showing. Tyler's crowd at Roosevelt High, jocks with lifted trucks and Red Bull addictions, grew tighter, their jokes sharper, laced with slurs that hung in the air like exhaust fumes. I catch him laughing along, his eyes flicking to me with a warning. "Don't out yourself, dude." I buried it deeper, focusing on art club sketches of rainy skylines and volunteering at the local LGBTQ+ youth center in Capitol Hill, where rainbow flags fluttered like defiant prayers. There, I met Alex, a wiry senior with freckles and a guitar strapped to his back, who played indie folk covers that made my stomach flip. Our first real talk was over lukewarm pizza at a center fundraiser. "You draw like you're spilling your soul on paper," he said, his green eyes locking on mine. I blushed, mumbling about Van Gogh's stormy nights. It felt like the first real spark in a life dimmed by caution. Tyler noticed. At home, his protectiveness twisted into something possessive. "Who's that kid you were with?" he'd grill, leaning against my doorframe after school, his Letterman jacket slung over one shoulder. I'd shrug it off, just a friend from the center. But his jaw would tighten, like I was slipping from his grasp. Elena chalked it up to brotherly love. Dad buried himself in overtime shifts, oblivious as ever. But I saw the shift. Tyler's hugs lingered too long, his eyes searching mine with an intensity that blurred the line between sibling and something unspoken. I pushed it down, telling myself it was the stress of college apps and his looming graduation. Seattle's endless gray skies mirrored the fog in my head, love and loyalty tangled in a knot I couldn't untie. By winter, the hook of our bond started to snag. Tyler got a girlfriend, Sarah, a cheerleader with bleach blonde hair and a laugh that cut through cafeteria din. She was perfect for his image, prom queen material, The girl who made his Instagram feed pop with beach bonfires at Golden Gardens. But late nights, when she'd leave and the house fell quiet, he'd climb down from his bunk, sitting on my bed's edge. "You get it, right? Why I have to do this?" he'd whisper, his breath warm against my ear. I'd nod, pretending to sleep, my heart a drum solo I couldn't silence. One night, after a party where he'd downed too many IPAs, he kissed me. Not a peck, a real kiss, desperate and tasting of regret. I froze, then pulled back, my voice a rasp. "Ty, we're brothers." His face crumpled, eyes wild. "Not by blood. And you feel it too." I didn't deny it, but I ran to the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face until the mirror fogged. That was the night the rain started feeling like judgment. Spring brought prom, a glittering farce under disco balls in the school gym. I went with a girl from art club as a shield, but Alex was there, dateless, his tie askew as he strummed an acoustic set that hushed the room. Our eyes met across the crowd, and for a moment, the world narrowed to his smile. Tyler saw it too. Later, in the parking lot, rain slicking the asphalt, he cornered me by my beat-up Honda Civic. "Stay away from him," he hissed, his breath fogging the air. "You're gonna ruin everything." I laughed bitterly. "Ruin what, Ty? Your perfect life." But he grabbed my collar, slamming me against the car door. "You think I don't see how you look at guys? It's pathetic. If word gets out, it'll drag us all down." The punch came fast, a fist to my gut that doubled me over, rain mixing with the bile in my throat. He walked away without a word, leaving me gasping under sodium lights. I didn't tell anyone. Bruises fade, but words fester. At the youth center, Alex became my anchor stolen coffees at Elliott Bay Book Company, where we'd debate Kerouac's Open Roads over lattes. His hand brushing mine sent sparks up my arm, tentative and electric. "You're brave, Nick," he'd say, tracing the veins on my wrist like they held secrets. I wanted to believe him, but Tyler's shadow loomed. Home was a minefield. Elena's worried glances at my silences, Dad's grunts over dinner about toughening up. Tyler acted normal, high fives at breakfast, carpool banter. But his eyes were daggers, daring me to speak. Graduation hit like a freight train. Tyler off to UW on a partial football scholarship. Me staying local at community college for graphic design. The attic felt cavernous without him, but freedom tasted bittersweet. Alex and I finally kissed under a canopy of cherry blossoms in the University District, petals drifting like confetti on a spring breeze. It was soft, exploratory, his lips tasting of cherry chapstick and possibility. "I've wanted this since that pizza night," he murmured, his fingers threading through my hair. We built something real, picnics in Discovery Park, where we'd watch ferries slice Puget Sound, talking dreams of New York galleries and his folk album. Love, I learned, was a quiet revolution, nurturing, not the storm I'd feared. But Tyler came home for summer break, and the air thickened. He'd bulked up, his stories laced with frat parties and conquests that made my skin crawl. Sarah was history. Now it was a parade of girls whose names blurred. One night, after a Mariners game where we tailgate with hot dogs and craft beers, he found the sketchbook I'd hidden, pages filled with Alex's profile, his laugh lines etched in pencil. "This is why you're weak," Tyler snarled, ripping pages free, scattering them like autumn leaves. hiding behind fairy tales while I'm out there building a life. I lunged for them, but he shoved me down the attic stairs. The crack of my wrist echoed like thunder. Pain bloomed white-hot as I hit the landing. Elena found me there, cradling my arm, tears carving rivers down my face. "What happened?" she demanded, her voice a whip. Tyler hovered above, feigning concern. "Slipped, Mom." Clumsy as always. Dad nodded, muttering about ice packs, but Elena's eyes narrowed. She drove me to the ER in Bellevue, the silence heavy as the I-90 bridge traffic. X-rays confirmed a sprain, but the rail break was deeper. "Talk to me, Nicholas," she said in the waiting room, her hand on mine. I cracked open, words tumbling about Tyler's rage, the slurs, the kiss that poisoned everything. She listened, tears glistening, then pulled me close. "You're safe with me." Always. Word spread like wildfire through our blended family. Dad confronted Tyler in the garage, tools clattering as voices rose. Accusations of betrayal, pleas for understanding. Tyler denied it all. He's lying to cover his issues, but Elena saw through the bluster, her counselor's intuition sharp as a scalpel. She sat him down for the talk I dreamed of, about love's many shapes, about the harm in closets built on fear. He stormed out, tires screeching into the night, but something shifted. Weeks later, a letter arrived, scrawled apologies on husky stationery, admitting his jealousy, his confusion over feelings he couldn't name. "I hurt you because I hated myself more," he wrote. "Forgive me, bro. Or don't. Just know I see you now." I didn't respond. Instead, I leaned into Alex, our love a lighthouse in the fog. We road-tripped the Oregon coast that fall, windows down, salt air whipping our hair as we chased sunsets at Cannon Beach. Haystack Rock loomed like a sentinel, waves crashing symphonies to our laughter. Back in Seattle, I transferred to UW, my designs earning nods from professors who saw the fire in my lines. Tyler transferred too, to a smaller school in Spokane, space we both needed. Holidays were tentative. Awkward Thanksgivings with Elena's cranberry sauce bridging gaps, Dad's toasts to second chances clinking like fragile glass. But betrayal's scar runs deep. One crisp October, Tyler showed up unannounced at my dorm, rain-slicked and hollow-eyed. "I came out," he said, voice cracking. "To the team. They didn't take it well." Fists had found him too, black eye blooming purple, knuckles raw. I wanted to slam the door, but his vulnerability mirrored mine once. We talked till dawn, over vending machine coffee, unraveling the knots. "I pushed you away to hide," he admitted. "But you walked toward the light." Forgiveness wasn't a switch. It was a slow thaw, built on therapy sessions Elena insisted on, where we hashed out the poison of toxic masculinity in our all-American home. Alex proposed on a snowy Christmas Eve, under the twinkling lights of the Seattle waterfront. Not with a ring, with a mixtape of our songs, wrapped in notebook paper etched with "Forever's just us against the rain." I said yes, tears freezing on my lashes, as fireworks burst over the Ferris wheel. Tyler was there, clapping hardest, his arm slung around a guy from his dorm, tentative steps into his own truth. Years folded like origami. My gallery show in Soho, Alex's album topping indie charts, Elena and Dad retiring to a cabin on Whidbey Island, where bald eagles soared like blessings. Tyler found his footing, a coach at a progressive high school, advocating for kids like us. We weren't close like before, but the hurt had forged something stronger, brothers by choice, not blood, standing tall in a world that tried to bend us. Walking away saved me not from Tyler, but from the lie that family meant enduring pain. In America's vast tapestry, from rainy coasts to neon dreams, I rebuilt not despite the break, but because of it. Love, I learned, isn't a storm to weather. It's the rainbow that follows, painting the sky in colors we dared to claim. The proposal's afterglow lingered like the scent of pine from our waterfront walk. But life doesn't pause for magic. Back in our cramped Capitol Hill apartment, exposed brick walls adorned with my sketches and Alex's vinyl collection, we dove into wedding plans with the fervor of two artists painting their future. Seattle's queer scene buzzed around us. Invitations hand-stamped at Pike Place, vows workshopped over dim sum in the International District. Tyler texted sporadically, supportive emojis, a link to a coming-out documentary that hit too close to home. I replied politely, but the attic stairs still haunted my dreams, a reminder that trust rebuilds brick by jagged brick. Work pulled me east that spring. A freelance gig with a Brooklyn ad agency turned into a 6-month stint, subletting a walk-up in Williamsburg where bagels were religion and graffiti whispered rebellion. Alex stayed behind, his tour schedule a whirlwind of coffeehouse gigs from Portland to Philly. "It's our open road," he'd say on late-night calls, his voice crackling over the Cascades. Kerouac would approve. I missed him fiercely. The way his laugh vibrated against my chest. The lazy Sundays tangled in sheets smelling of lavender detergent. But distance sharpened my edges. In New York's relentless pulse, I poured myself into designs that screamed identity. Campaigns for LGBTQ+ nonprofits, bold graphics blending rainbow arcs with the grit of subway rats. Tyler visited once, crashing on my futon amid the hipster hum of Bedford Avenue. He was different, lean from pickup basketball, his husky hoodie swapped for a flannel that screamed Pacific Northwest transplant. We wandered the High Line, elevated rails blooming with wildflowers, talking past the skyline's jagged teeth. "Coaching's my therapy," he confessed, kicking a pebble into the Hudson. "These kids, they're me at 15, scared shitless." One boy, he said, reminded him of me, quiet artist type, sketching in the bleachers. "Told him your story. Anonymized, of course." He lit up. "Nick, like you gave him permission to breathe." I swallowed the lump in my throat, the rain of that prom night a distant rumble. "You get it now," I said softly. "The weight we carry." He nodded, eyes on the water. "Wish I'd gotten it sooner." Forgiveness crept in sideways, like fog off the East River. We shared a beer at a dive bar in the village, toasting to do-overs as a drag queen belted show tunes overhead. He apologized again, not scripted, but raw, voice thick. "I broke us because I was terrified of breaking myself. I didn't absolve him outright. Healing isn't a Hallmark card." But I hugged him goodbye at Penn Station, the screech of trains echoing our unfinished symphony. "Keep fighting for them," I said. "And for you." The wedding loomed like a beacon. We chose a July date, Vashon Island ferry ride away from Seattle, fertile fields and forested trails, a slice of Eden where deer grazed like wedding crashers. Guests trickled in. Elena beaming in a sundress embroidered with wildflowers, Dad fiddling with his tie like it was a jet engine schematic, Alex's bandmates strumming folk tunes on the beach. Tyler arrived solo, his +1 bailing last minute. Comes with the closet, he shrugged. But his smile was genuine, eyes crinkling at the corners. The ceremony was us, barefoot on driftwood sand, vows exchanged under a driftwood arch woven with sea glass. You taught me love isn't hidden, I told Alex, my voice steady against the waves. It's the brave choice, every damn day. He kissed me salt-sweet, rings glinting like captured stars. Honeymoon in the San Juan Islands, kayaking emerald bays, spotting Orcas breach like black and white miracles. We talked legacy, kids, maybe, through fostering, a home with a studio where my canvases could sprawl. And a guest room for Tyler, Alex teased, his head on my shoulder as stars wheeled overhead. I laughed, but the idea settled warm. Family, redefined. Reality crashed back with autumn leaves. Alex's label pushed for a full album, tours stretching to Europe. I landed a permanent role in New York, commuting via red ice that left me hollow-eyed and coffee-dependent. Tyler called one gray November, "Mom's sick." Elena, our rock, diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer, the kind that sneaks up like a thief. We rallied. Dad's stoic meal preps, my designs for awareness posters that popped on social media. Tyler drove the hours from Spokane, his presence a quiet anchor during chemo sessions in Tacoma's sterile halls. She's tougher than all of us, he said, squeezing my shoulder as Elena napped, her bald head wrapped in a colorful turban. In the waiting room, amid the hum of vending machines and whispered prayers, Tyler and I found rhythm. We'd walk the hospital gardens, crimson maples shedding like confetti, sharing stories we'd buried. He opened up about his own coming-out fallout, the coach who benched him, the teammate who spat slurs. Felt like prom all over again, he admitted. I shared the therapy breakthroughs, how I'd reclaimed the attic in my mind, turning stairs into steps forward. You didn't break me, Ty. You just showed me I could rebuild. Tears mixed with rain on our faces. Brotherhood, mended, felt like coming home. Elena beat it, remission a hard-won medal pinned with gratitude. Family Thanksgiving that year was a feast. Her famous stuffing, Dad's carved turkey, Tyler bringing a date, Mark, a fellow coach with a gentle laugh and easy way about him. Laughter filled the craftsman, chasing shadows from corners. Alex and I announced our fostering plans. Tyler raised a glass. To the family we choose. It wasn't perfect. Old hurts flickered like faulty bulbs. But it was ours, resilient as Seattle's evergreens. New York swallowed me whole after that. My career bloomed. A solo exhibit at a Chelsea gallery. Fractured lines. Canvases mapping the scars of secrecy into abstract beauty. Critics called it a queer odyssey in pigment. But to me, it was exorcism. Alex's album dropped to acclaim. Tracks like Rainwalker's Promise climbing charts. His voice a bomb on Spotify playlists. We bought a brownstone in Bed-Stuy, creaky floors, a backyard garden where tomatoes ripened defiant against concrete. Tyler settled too, engaged to Mark by spring, a small ceremony in Spokane's riverfront park. He invited me as best man. I stood beside him, words flowing. You taught me pain's not the end, it's the forge. Tears streaked his tux. But his grin was pure Tyler, boyish, unbreakable. Then, the call that tested it all. Dad's heart attack. Mid-shift at a part-time gig tinkering with model planes. We flew West End, Mass. Elena's hand in mine at the ICU. Monitors beeping like Morse code for hold on. Tyler paced. Fists clenched. Alex strummed a silent guitar in the hall. Dad pulled through stents and statins, a new lease scripted in Jell-O cups. In recovery, he pulled me aside. Proud of you, son, for walking your path. Coming from the man of few words, it landed like absolution. Fostering started small. A 12-year-old named Jamie, wide-eyed runaway with a backpack of comics and trust issues thicker than fog. He arrived wary, sketching superheroes in the margins of our takeout menus. Tyler visited, sharing football tales. Elena baked cookies that crumbled barriers. Jamie bloomed art classes. First crush confided over hot cocoa. Watching him, I saw echoes of my 16-year-old self. Fragile, fierce. Years blurred into milestones. Jamie's adoption papers signed on a sun-drenched courthouse step. Alex's Grammy nod for folk revival. My book deal, Lines of Resilience, Art from the Margins. Tyler and Mark adopted twins, chubby-cheeked whirlwinds who tackled uncles at reunions. Elena's 60th, a backyard bash in Whidbey, lanterns swaying as we danced to Motown under stars. One eve, porch swing creaking, Tyler and I nursed beers, Puget Sound lapping like old friends. Never thought we'd get here, he said, voice low. From that night to this, I clinked bottles. We walked away from the hurt. Built bridges instead. He nodded, eyes on the horizon where fairies ghosted like dreams. America's heart beats in these moments. Flawed, fierce, full of second acts. My stepbrother hurt me, yes, carving canyons in my soul. But walking away, it was the map to treasure. Love reclaimed, family reforged, a life painted bold against the rain. The brownstone's garden became our sanctuary. Jamie's laughter a soundtrack to summer barbecues where charcoal smoke curled like invitations. He'd grown lanky, 14 now, with my dark hair and Alex's mischievous glint, trading comics for guitar picks under Alex's patient tutelage. You're a natural, kid, Alex would say, strumming a riff from his latest track. Echoes over the sound. Jamie beamed, fingers callousing into confidence. Tyler's twins toddled through, Mark chasing them with mock growls. While Elena dispensed wisdom over potato salad, roots grow deepest in turned soil, but beneath the idle, fissures lingered. Tyler's visits stirred sediment, casual mentions of his team's tough love drills that echoed too closely to old bruises. One weekend, post-game barbecue in our yard, he pulled me aside by the fence. Voice pitched low, got a kid on the roster. Struggling. Like us. His eyes searched mine, plea unspoken. I nodded, throat tight. Tell him he's not alone. Art Center in Brooklyn. I'll hook him up. It was olive branch extended. But as he clapped my back, the ghost of that punch rippled through me. Healing's a marathon, not a sprint. Some scars pull when you stretch. Alex sensed it, his hand finding mine in the kitchen later, flour dusted from pie crusts. You okay? He'd ask, green eyes steady as ever. Our love had weathered tours and tantrums, deepening like wine in a cellar. Nights, we'd lie tangled, his breath sinking with mine, whispering futures. A studio expansion, maybe a second kid. Jamie's got a sister out there, he'd muse, tracing my collarbone. I smiled into the dark, gratitude a quiet tide. Career crests brought their own storms. My book launch in Manhattan, leather-bound tomes stacked like promises at a Soho bookstore, drew crowds. Queer icons, gallery owners, even a Times reviewer who dubbed it a manifesto in watercolor. Tyler flew in, twins in tow, beaming from the back row. Post-reading Q&A turned raw. A teen asked about rejection sting. I faltered. Then, it breaks you open. But that's where the light gets in. Tyler's nod from the shadows felt like absolution earned. Alex's Grammy win was electric. Red carpet in a tailored suit that hugged his frame, my hand in his pocket for luck. We watched from LA, Jamie glued to the screen, Elena live-tweeting from Whidbey. When his name echoed through the Dolby Theater, confetti rained like Seattle drizzle turned golden. Backstage, tears and champagne. For us, he toasted, kissing me amid flashbulbs. Headlines crowed, folk heartthrobs, queer anthem strikes gold. But to me, it was vindication, the boy from the youth center, now a voice for the voiceless. Tyler's life paralleled in parallels. His coaching gig evolved, partnering with local LGBTQ+ orgs for inclusive clinics, turning fields into safe havens. Mark's photography sideline captured it, lads in cleats, rain-slicked and radiant, framed in his Spokane studio. They adopted again, a girl with curls like Elena's, naming her after mom, Grace. Family reunions swelled. Whidbey potlucks where dad grilled salmon with stories of Boeing glory days, his stent scars badges of survival. Yet conflict brewed subtle. A Spokane news piece on Tyler's program sparked backlash. Anonymous emails, slurs scrawled on his truck. He downplayed it during a call. Haters gonna hate, bro. But his voice cracked, echo of that rainy prom. I flew out, landing in a town of wheat fields and wide skies, so different from Brooklyn's bustle. We hiked Riverside State Park, basalt cliffs rising like sentinels, air pine sharp. Feels like starting over, he said, skipping stones across the Spokane River. I sat beside him, mud on my jeans. You are. Every day, he turned, eyes raw. Proud you're my brother, Nick. Even when I wasn't worth it, the hug was fierce. No shadows, just two men, mending. Back east, Jamie hit adolescence's jagged edge. School whispers about his dad's. A crush unrequited that left him sketching storm clouds. We navigated it together, therapy with a queer counselor in Park Slope. Open talks over Thai takeout. Love's not a straight line, I told him, echoing Elena. Alex added, strumming softly, it's a song, verses, choruses, bridges. He softened, blooming into a teen who volunteered at the center where we'd met. Cycle complete. Elena's health scare redux, a routine check flagging anomalies, rallied us again. Scans clear, but the fear lingered like aftershock. We planned a legacy trip, cross-country drive, Route 66 redux in a rented RV, chasing diners and dream catchers. Dad at the wheel, Elena navigating with her infamous detours, Tyler and Mark trailing in their Subaru, kids' car seats strapped tight. Stops blurred, Grand Canyon's yawn, Route 40's endless ribbon, Graceland's velvet ropes. Nights around campfires, stories unfurled. Tyler's first crush, a boy on the Pee Wee team. My hidden sketches, Alex's runaway youth in rural Oregon. In the Badlands, under a sky bruised purple, Tyler and I broke from the group, hiking hoodoos that twisted like our history. Remember the attic? He asked, wind whipping. I'd kill to redo that. I gripped his shoulder. We can't. But we can write the sequel. Laughter bubbled. Free brothers. Unburdened. The trip capped in Seattle. Full circle. Ferry to Vashon for our anniversary vow renewal. Jamie officiated, voice steady at 16. Grace toddled flower petals. Vows renewed. Through rain and rebuilds, Alex said, ring slipping warm. Tyler's toast, to hurts that heal us. Post-trip, momentum built. My second book, Bridges Over Breaks, hit shelves. Tyler contributing a foreword. Raw, redemptive. Alex's tour doc premiered at Tribeca. Jamie cameo strumming. Tyler's program went national. PBS feature on Fields of Acceptance. A quiet crisis tested. Mark's diagnosis, testicular cancer, early but aggressive. Tyler crumbled in my kitchen. Head in hands. Can't lose him. Nick. We rallied fundraisers blending my art auctions with Alex's benefit concerts. Elena flew out. Her survivor stories a lifeline. Dad sent care packages of model kits. Tyler coached through it. Field lights his therapy. Remission came swift. Mark's grin returned. Leaner but luminous. In the aftermath, Tyler proposed a podcast, Brothers in the Breach, Unpacking Masculinity's Myths. Guests ranged queer athletes, therapists. Episodes raw, my coming out, his betrayal unpacked. Listeners flooded in, stories mirroring ours, pain to power. Jamie's high school graduation, cap and gown in the Space Needle shadow, his speech on found families drawing cheers. College bound for RISD, sketchbook in tow. Our empty nest loomed, but excitement hummed, more Fosters, perhaps travel. Tyler's 40th, spoken bash, twins now teens dunking hoops, Grace belting karaoke. I toasted. From fracture to family, here's to you, Ty. His eyes misted. To us, America's pulse thrummed in these threads. Diverse, defiant. The hurt from my stepbrother? It was the chisel that sculpted strength. Walking away built not just a life, but a legacy. Love's quiet revolution, one bridge at a time. Empty nest hit like a soft landing. Jamie's dorm unpacked at RISD. His room a shrine of half-finished canvases and band posters. Alex and I rattled around the brownstone, rediscovering rhythms. Morning runs along the East River, where Brooklyn Bridge arched like a promise. Evenings cooking paella from a Barcelona cookbook, wine loosening tongues to dreams deferred. World tour, he'd suggest. I sparkling. Or just the backyard hammock. Laughter-filled voids. Love's elasticity proven. Tyler's podcast surged, Spotify top charts in self-help. Episodes dissecting bro code toxicity with guests like a trans Navy vet or a black queer poet from Chicago. He guested on mine. Voice steady. Betrayal's the teacher we never wanted. Feedback poured. Dad's reaching out. Son's healing. Mark's recovery inspired a photo series, Survivor's Light, exhibited in Seattle's Fry Art Museum. Elena curating with fierce pride. Dad's decline crept subtle. Parkinson's whisper. Hands trembling over whittled birds. We adapted voice-activated tools for his models. Weekly Zooms where he'd critique my latest spreads. Keep those lines bold. Son, he'd rasp. Eyes twinkling. Tyler built a workshop ramp at the cabin. Elena's garden therapy soothed his frustration. Family video calls became ritual. Grace's piano recital. Twins lacrosse highlights. Jamie's viral animation short. A curveball. Alex's label offer solo producer in LA. 6-month commitment. It's huge, he said, pacing our kitchen. Guitar idle. I masked the pang. Go chase the sun. But nights alone echoed. He left in September. Palm trees swapping for sycamores, calls crackling with static and I miss yous, Tyler noticed during a solo visit, crashing for a gallery opening. Over dive bar wings in Williamsburg, distance tests the roots. Wise now. My stepbrother scars silvered into insight. His own test. School board pushback on the inclusive program. Conservative faction decrying indoctrination. Petitions flew. Protests at City Hall, Tyler Center stage. Megaphone in hand. These kids deserve fields, not fights. I designed protest graphics, bold reds and blues, fists raised in solidarity. Media frenzy, CNN spot, Tyler's measured fury going viral. Backlash stung, death threats scrawled, but support swelled. Ally donors, student testimonials. Victory. Program funded, expanded. Your art armed us, he texted. Emoji shield. Jamie's freshman year drama. Campus romance fizzling. Identity questions bubbling. He crashed home for break. Voice cracking over cocoa. Am I? Enough, Alex. Fresh from LA. Pulled out the guitar. Enough's a myth. You're everything. We tag-teamed. Tyler's pep talk on resilience. Elena's letters on self-love. He returned steadier. Thesis on queer narratives in animation earning prof raves. Holiday circuit peaked at Whidbey. Dad's birdhouses lining the porch. Elena's tree strung with heirloom ornaments. Tyler's family arrived en masse. Twins now lanky juniors. Grace a tween firecracker with braces and ballet dreams. Sledding on the bluff. Snowballs flying. Fireside carols. Alex harmonizing low. Dad's toast slurred slight but sincere. To branches that bend, not break. Tyler caught my eye across the table. Shared nod. History honored. Spring brought renewal. Alex's return. Demo tracks bursting with Cali sun. We eloped to City Hall impromptu. Just witnesses Jamie and a bodega clerk. Rings simple gold bands etched against the rain. Honeymoon redux. Amtrak to Big Sur. Cliffs dropping to Pacific roar. Trails scented sage and salt. Second firsts, Alex murmured. Hand in mine on windswept bluffs. Tyler's milestone. Book deal. Fields of courage. Coaching beyond the lines. I blurbed it. Words heartfelt. From brother to beacon. Launch in Spokane drew crowds. Farmers in flannel. Kids in jerseys. Signing lines snaked. One dad gripped his hand. Your story saved my boy. Tyler's grin cracked wide. Mark's arm steadying. My exhibit in D.C. Smithsonian affiliate. American fractals. Queer stories woven into national fabric. Tyler keynote opening. Hurts the hue that makes us vivid. Elena teared up in the crowd. Dad beaming from a scooter. Post-event dinner at Founding Farmers. Farm-to-table plates steaming. Toasts to the mosaic we mend. Crisis redux. Elena's follow-up flagged metastasis. Lungs this time. Shadow creeping. We converged. Flights cancelled. RV dusted off for Whidbey vigils. Chemo cocktails. Her laugh defiant over puzzles. Live loud, she'd command, pinning brooches on us like talismans. Tyler read her chapters aloud. I sketched her portrait, lines fierce as her spirit. Dad held her hand through nights. Alex sang lullabies soft. Remission again. Fierce woman, our warrior queen. Recovery cruise. Alaska fjords. Glaciers calving like applause. Whales breached beside the ship. Breaches mirroring our breaks mended. Jamie's internship at Pixar. Animation prodigy. Framing dreams in pixels. Tyler's twins scouted colleges. One eyeing UW football. Echo poignant. Grace's first crush. A classmate with violin bows and shy smiles. Tyler navigating with Grace. A reflective summer. Tyler and I road-tripped the Northwest. Olympic rainforests to Palouse wheat seas. Stops at childhood haunts. Roosevelt's bleachers, where he'd once shielded me. Lake Washington's shore. Stones skipping smoother now. Full circle, he said. Arm around my shoulders. Thanks for not quitting on me. I leaned in. Family's the long game. Alex's symphony collab. Queer composers. Premiered at Lincoln Center. I designed the program, opulent swirls evoking sound waves. Standing ovation thundered. His bow deep, eyes finding mine in the lights. Tyler's program TEDx. From punch to purpose. Viral. Invitations flooding, keynotes. Consults. Mark's gallery show toured. Light refracted. Dad's Parkinson's progressed. Care facility near us. Brooklyn brownstone adapted with rails. Visits ritual. Bird feeders filled. Stories retold. You boys turned out all right, he'd murmur. Grip firm. Elena's 60th redux, wait. 70 now? Time's thief. Bash on the beach. Bonfire crackling. S'mores sticky. Vows to vitality. Jamie's animation short festival win. Oscar buzz. Tearful call home. For you guys, the blueprint. Tyler's confession over whiskey. Post-twin send-off. Still wake from that night sometimes. Your face. I stopped him. It's past. We're present. Hug tight. Absolution complete. America's weave. From Seattle mists to Brooklyn beats. Hurts to harmonies. Stepbrothers wound. Catalyst to canvas vast. Walking away wove wonder. Love's enduring arc. Autumn's palette painted Brooklyn gold. Ginkgo leaves carpeting sidewalks like forgotten confetti. Dad's facility visits became my anchor. His stories looping like vinyl grooves. Bowing rivets. Mom's laugh in the kitchen. She'd love this brood, he'd say. Eyes distant but warm. Tyler coordinated from afar. Video calls syncing our chaos. His twins prom prep. Grace's debate club triumphs. Elena's garden yielded bumper zucchini. Shipped east in care packages laced with notes. Grow where planted. Alex's Oscar nod for Jamie's short. Producer credit shining. Ignited frenzy. Red carpet fittings. Media blitz. Jamie, wide-eyed at 20. Borrowed my tux. We prepped in the brownstone mirror. Alex adjusting his bow tie. Nailed it, I said. Pride swelling. Ceremony night. Dolby's glamour. Our row a family fortress. Tyler's crew flown in. Elena's turban chic. When Best Animated Short echoed. Jamie's name flashing. Cheers erupted. Backstage hugs sticky with tears. His whisper. Your story in frames. After party at Spago. Caviar toasts. Tyler clinking. To pixels and perseverance. High faded to hard. Dad's fall. Hip fracture splintering routine. Surgery in Seattle. Rehab a gauntlet. We rotated, me designing from hospital Wi-Fi. Alex canceling gigs. Tyler coaching remote. Elena's vigil bedside. Her hand in Dad's. Engineer's toughest fix. He rallied. Walker clicking like metronome to recovery. Tyler's crossroads. Head coaching offer at a big city school, but with caveats, toned down inclusivity. Sell out or stay true? He agonized during a late-night call. Spokane's skyline twinkling behind. Mark's counsel steady. Your field's heart, not the paycheck. He declined. doubling down local program blossoming, rival coaches poaching his methods. Integrity's the real win, he texted. Fist emoji salute. Jamie's post-Oscar glow. Studio deal, but burnout lurking. He crashed home. Sketches frantic. We intervened yoga retreats in the Catskills. Alex's acoustic unplugged sessions. Breathe the story, I advised. Easel beside his. Tyler sent care package. Signed footballs from Mentz. Note, champions rest to run. Elena's legacy project. Memoir Counsel from the Heart. Ghosted by yours truly. Chapters wove our tapestry. Blended pains to blended joys. Launch in Tacoma. Bookstore packed. Her reading voice resonant. Tyler emceed. Intro poignant. Mom's the glue. Sales soared. Proceeds to youth centers. Alex's midlife muse. Concept album Rebuilt Roads. Collaborations with queer elders, vets, activists. Recording in Nashville. I tagged along. Honky-tonks humming. Sessions soul deep. One night, under neon, he proposed a sequel life. Adopt again, or sail the world? Laughter mingled with crickets. Both. Greedy hearts. Tyler's twins graduated. Valedictorian speeches echoing his own unvoiced dreams. Commencement's duel, UW for one. Community college coaching track for the other. Pride swelled. Mark's photos captured grins unshadowed. Grace's bat mitzvah, wait. No. Quinceanera? Blended faiths. Hybrid joy. Spoken hall alight with piñatas and prayers. My retrospective, MoMA fringe. Decades of defiance. Canvases chronicled. Attic shadows to bridge beams. Opening night gala. Black ties. Champagne flutes. Tyler keynote via video. Nick's lines mapped our map. Elena teared. Dad wheeled front row. Nodding approval. Crisis cascade. Mark's recurrent scare. Scans shadowed. Then clear. Relief raw. Tyler's vulnerability voicemail. Thought I'd shatter again. I flew out. Landing in wheat gold fields. Hike to falls. Mist rainbowed. You're steel-willed. His laugh broke. Learned from the best, you. Jamie's directorial debut. Feature on Foster Journeys. Premiered Sundance. Snowy Park City throng. Our clan bundled. Cheering wild. Standing ovation thundered. Q&A His Grace shining. Families the hero arc. Dad's 90th. Whidbey wingding. Model planes dangling from rafters. Toasts cascaded. Tyler's, sky's the limit. Elena's wings clipped. Spirit soars. Cake smashed. Laughter loud. Alex and I fostered anew. Siblings, 8 and 10. Wide-eyed from group home. Chaos charming. Finger paints on walls. Bedtime stories improvised. Tyler's advice. Discipline with heart. Elena's visits. Cookie wisdom. Tyler's National Award. GLSEN Educator of Year. DC ceremony. Suits starched. Acceptance. For the kid I hurt and the man he became. Call later. Voice thick. Meant you. Bro. Elena's health wane. Fatigue deepening. But spirit unbowed. Hospice talks whispered. We planned dignified home. Harpist. Harbor view. No tears till after, she decreed. Jamie's film Oscar buzz. Campaign trail. Our brownstone HQ for strategy huddles. Twins interned his set. Grace voiced a character. Alex's album drop. Chart topper. Tour announced worldwide. Inclusive. Join? He asked. I's hopeful. Co-pilot life. Tyler's book tour. Fields paperback. Forward updated with my addendum. Signings intimate. Fans thanks tactile. Dad's passing gentle. Sleep's embrace. Elena's hand laced. Memorial lakeside. Eulogies woven. Tyler's builder of dreams. Mine quiet force. Ashes scattered Lake Washington. Stones skipping in tribute. Grief's tide. Elena leaned on us. Whidbey quietude her balm. Tyler's podcast hiatus. Episodes raw on loss. Jamie's win. Oscar statuette clutched. Speech. For rebuilders, dads. Uncles. All. Elena's fade. Harbor vigil. Her last words. Love loud. We honored celebration of life. Stories shared. Lanterns launched. Tyler's inheritance. Elena's brooches. Pinned to his jacket. Her fire in me. Alex and I sailed Greek Isles. Whitewash cliffs. Salt air healed. Sunset vows. Through every tide. Tyler's new chapter. Non-profit launch. Bridge fields nationwide. I designed logo arches linking. Jamie's sequel. Foster epic. Cast queer icons. Grief's garden. Blooms from ache. Families ever expanding. America's anthem. Resilient refrains. Stepbrother's hurt. Symphony's bassline. Walking away. Crescendo to chorus eternal. Elena's absence echoed like a half-finished melody. Her Whidbey cabin a museum of memories. Journals stacked. Garden overgrown with defiant hollyhocks. We gathered monthly. Potlucks in her honor. Recipes recited like incantations. Tyler tended the plot. Hands in soil echoing her nurture. I digitized her letters. Pixels preserving voice. Dad's spot empty, but his birdsong lingered in feeders we filled. Jamie's Oscar halo propelled. Directing gigs cascading. A Netflix series on blended families greenlit. He cast the Foster Sibs, now ours officially, as extras. Their giggles lighting sets. Full circle, he grinned. Clapperboard snap. Alex scored the pilot. Folk strings underscoring heart. Tyler consulted equity. Authentic arcs. No tropes. Tyler's Bridge Fields burgeoned. Chapters in 10 states. Scholarships seeded. DC Summit. Panel with me. Voices harmonizing on masculinity's makeover. Crowd wrapped. One teen's question. How do you forgive? Hung heavy. Tyler deferred. Ask my brother. I shared measured. Time. And truth. Applause swelled. Bridge beams strengthening. Alex's world tour. Arenas from Tokyo to Toronto. Encore's electric. I joined segments. Sydney Opera glow. Rio's Christ arms open. Backstage. His exhaustion masked by adrenaline. Hotel whispers. You're my North Star. Foster kids thrive stateside. Jamie co-parenting via FaceTime. Tyler's twins babysitting pros. Mark's full recovery milestone. Tattoo tribute. Phoenix inked on ribs. Spokane party. Grill smoke. Grace's cake artistry. Tyler's speech. From ashes. Always. My graphic novel adaptation. Fractals inked. Eisner nod pending. Launch Comic-Con. Cosplayers channeling panels. Tyler in faux jersey hawking. Signing frenzy. Fan hug. Your story's mine. Foster Sibs milestone. First school play. Our brood front row. Tyler's crew caravanning east. Curtain rise. Nerves quelled by Alex's pre-show serenade. Postbo's ice cream. Dreams voiced. Futures sketched. Tyler's personal pivot. Therapy deep dive. Unearthing layers. Sessions shared anonymized on pod. Roots run deep, prune to grow. Listeners mirrored. Community coalescing. Jamie's series premiere. Red carpet redux. Family phalanx. Critics raved. Tender triumph. Binge-watch nights in brownstone. Tears and toasts. Alex's sabbatical. Unplugged retreat. Adirondacks cabin. I joined. Easels and acoustics syncing. Compositions born. Album, Haven Harmonies. Dedications to Elena. Tyler's engagement renewal. Mark. 20th anniversary. Vashon Beach. Echoes of Ours. Vows recast. Through fields and falls, we witnessed. Rings exchanged under driftwood. Grace's college send-off. NYU Theater. Dreams stage-lit. Dorm drop-off teary. Tyler's note tucked. Spotlight's yours. Twins pro drafts. One NFL fringe. Other academy coach. Tryouts tense. Support squad Zoom cheered. My MoMA solo. Evolutions. Evolutions etched. Elena's portrait centerpiece. Eyes alive. Tyler's wall text. Her light in his lines. Crisis averted. Foster 10-year-old's health scare. Appendectomy swift. Hospital vigil. Alex's guitar soothing. Tyler's jokes landing soft. Tyler's keynote TED. Betrayal to brotherhood. Viral again. School screening. Follow-up book. Co-authored. Our duet. Jamie's Emmy buzz. Series Emmy nod. Campaign fervent. Our home HQ. Strategy sessions laced with laughter. Alex's surprise. Adoption papers for a third. Teen artist. Runaway echo. Court date dawn. Family expands. Tyler's non-profit gala. Met steps. Tux's twinkling. Auction my piece. Attic reimagined bridge. Fetched fortunes for fields. Elena's memorial garden. Whidbey plot. Benches engraved names. Dedication. Readings. Releases. Lanterns lifting like spirits. Dad's would-be centennial. Virtual toast. Birds freed. Wings wide. Tyler's confession. Fireside. That hurt? My biggest regret. Your strength? My guide. I clasped hand. Forgiven full. Forward. Jamie's wedding. To a sound designer. Courthouse chic. Vows. Frames to forever. Tyler best man. My toast. From foster to family bravo. Alex and I's vow refresh. Greece return. Al's azure. Endless horizons. Tyler's retirement tease. Pass the whistle. Successor mentored. Legacy locked. Grace's Broadway break. Understudy swing. Lights calling. Twins championships. Rings won. Echoes of Tyler's unplayed dreams. My Pulitzer whisper. Graphic memoir nod. Rebuilt long listed. Ceremony nerves. When announced. Speech stuttered. For the hurt that healed. Tyler's response. Deserved. Bro. Proud. Final thread. Family reunion. Route 66 loop RV full. Stories looping. Badlands sunset. From break to boundless. America's epic. Queer quilts stitched sturdy. Stepbrother's scar. Star in constellation. Walking away. Path to constellations claimed. Love's luminous legacy. In the end, the rain that once drowned screams now nourished roots. We stood taller. Branches intertwined. Weathering whatever skies. The life he broke, I rebuilt grander. A testament to walking on heart open. Horizon wide.